Happy Friday, right before the new year. And you can see the happy Thanos right above Thanos' copter's head because he's just like smiling away while he's in his copter. That's fantastic. I just
Stole
realized
that
that
off
when I
the
looked at that,
internet.
I was like,
Eventually, someone's gonna be like, "Hey, that's mine." I'm like, "Oh, damn it!"
yeah, it'll eventually bite you in the butt. But you know what? It's not biting in the butt right now, so we're good.
I'd credit the person if I remembered where it came from. Like, that got it off the
You know
internet.
what? I don't think the world will end.
Yeah,
I'm sure somebody at some point. I really have to figure out how to turn off those damn Facebook notifications. Knew I shouldn't have signed back up for Facebook, but damn it, I needed to be in the cabal. And I'm grateful I have because I managed to get a Chronow and I managed to get a Purplore,
yeah, you're getting good
all from the
deals.
cabal for
Yeah.
reasonable prices. So I can't complain too much on that end. So it is Friday before New Year's. How are you doing, sir?
Recovering. I've been sick for like a week. But other than that, pretty good.
Well, that's good. At least you're feeling better. I mean, that's
Yeah.
the improvement that you need, right? So I know you know. I know you've watched enough of the show. We're gonna do the thing. So here we go. The Geek Nerd Dork version. Don McMillan is the comedian that started this. So in order for us to kind of classify where you fit on this spectrum, a dork is traditionally someone who is socially awkward with a high IQ. Last I checked, that was a whale penis, but we'll get into penises later for whatever
Definitely
reason.
will.
So, having a high IQ and being obsessed, you would traditionally be called a geek. If you're obsessed and you're socially awkward, you're a stalker. Now, you have this middle part where all three of those things come together to make you the nerd. So, in order to move from geek to nerd, one must become socially awkward. I'm still trying to figure out how you do that, but I don't know.
Time around people work for me. So
Yeah, I don't know. I guess talk to more people and then you'll realize you don't want to be social with them. I don't know. To go from stalker to nerd, you just have to work on your IQ. So you can just read. You can just learn more things, be more intelligent. There you go, right? So
I
to
feel
move
like
from
I'm moving
dork
in
to
the
nerd,
opposite direction.
to go from dork to nerd, all you got to do is find an obsession. So as toy collectors, we're all kind of obsessed. So I think we all kind of somewhere in that geek nerd. We're not quite in the dorks. Well, I guess some people could be dorks. So I mean, I guess whatever works for them. So where do you think you fit in those categories?
Well, I don't consider myself very smart, so I'm probably in the stalker area. I like when I was younger, I'd have been like, definitely, I'm smart, but I have no idea. Like, I know that I'm not smart, and that's, I guess, some kind of intelligence.
Well, there's some awareness there,
Yeah.
right?
But I'm gonna go with stalker. I definitely am
Okay.
socially awkward and obsessive. So, like, if I get into something, I like get into it. Like,
Yeah, it's not you don't go halfway. There's no dip in the toe. It's
no half ass.
full
Use the
war.
whole ass every time.
Let's check in with the chat and see who's here. We got Oz here. How you doing, sir? Henry83 is here. Action Figs is here. Silver K is here. Nolan is here. Aaron the Toy Enhancer is here. All right. Eldor is here. How are you doing, sir? Let's see. Who else? I know there's somebody else. Toy Mama is here. Yes, Kayla. We will be discussing some nude photographs later.
Oh, I thought she was the eggplants because I'm vegan. So.
Oh, yeah. Well.
No,
Yeah, I don't think so.
Kayla, I know what you meant.
Nah. Was this about a peen? We'll talk about it later. We knew it was going to go there, right? It just had to. Radical Toys. Hey, Adam. How you doing, sir? All right. Is that everybody? Nope. Allison Troy. How you doing? All right. Wait. Is there anybody else? Anybody else? Lots of in talking. Okay. Okay, so that's everybody. Okay, dog. Let's not get into everything over there, young lady. Baby girl's a hot mess. Hot mess. So, nope, eh, eh, nope, no, 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 stop doing that. You're. Oh, there we go. So, I started this channel and I started this weekly discussion when I have the discussions. When I'm not doing the customs with people. But I talk about play and the importance of it as an adult and how we kind of forget to do that, and we end up stressed out and anxious, and we forget to take that time that we need. Um, so I'm going to define the play state like I always do, and then I'm going to kind of work from there. So a play state is a state of mind where you're absorbed in the activity that's providing you some type of enjoyment that you lose a sense of time in. Now, given that definition, when was the last time you played?
Today, definitely. So when I take my photographs, like I get lost. Like I had to actually get out of the habit of doing it late at night because I'll stay up way too late and I'll just be like I'll set this up, play with the lighting a little bit, take a picture, look at the picture, see how I like it, take a couple more pictures, and like before I know it, like a couple hours have gone by.
Yeah.
So
It does take more time than people think, and that's the hilarious part, is that there's some people that think it doesn't take much time to do the photographs, but between getting lighting and setting up the scene and keep making sure everybody doesn't fall, and
yeah, the amount of time something falls over, knocks something else over, then you're setting that back
yeah, and
up,
then
an accessory pops off and you lose it. It's like
exactly, and there's nothing more frustrating when you get it right to that point, and then something falls, and you're just like, no.
Yeah. Yeah, especially if
Yeah,
it's an elaborate shot. Like I did a few shots where it was like balancing figures on other figures, and
I can't.
it's a
Yeah,
lot.
no, that was it. Was when I was doing an A walk and I was having it pose on one leg, and I would get it there, and like barely touched the table,
Yeah.
and it just kept falling. And I mean, I probably spent, I don't know, 30 minutes just for a stupid photo that says, "Yeah, today I was a poser." I was just
I
like,
have
why?
um,
Why would I do that to myself?
with AWOCs, I did a few shots on my jungle dio where I made vines and I was like had them on the vines and fighting and getting that to balance without somebody shifting and like looking awkward. Like it took a lot.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's always interesting. So, when you were a kid, when you were playing with your toys, was there a specific way you played with them? Was it one where you had to have big elaborate scenes? Was it spontaneous? Was it, I have to set all this stuff up before I can actually do this? So
Um,
what were the ways that you played as a kid?
It was definitely a little bit of both. Sometimes I just grab a couple figures and like me and my cousins or my friends would play with them. But a lot of time, I had like a big willow tree in the front yard, and I had like a moat dug, and I would put like play sets out there and like hang people from the trees and have like all kinds of stuff, vehicles coming up the other side. And, like I'd sit out there all day, and the neighborhood kids would come and play like with the play sets, and you know, I would sit out there setting it up for a while sometimes.
So do you remember how play made you feel as a kid?
Um, I mean, I don't think I could ever recapture it. I wish I could, but it's like just getting lost in the world. I would put it somewhere like reading a good book or getting immersed in a good TV show or something.
You get those kind of that sense of just being in the moment, not worrying about later, you know,
Yeah, you're
what you're
thinking
going to do
about like
later.
the world that your imagination's in
Yeah.
more than where you're physically located.
So do you ever watch a show and you go, oh well, maybe I would do this differently, or I would have headcanon that I would want to go this way, or
Sometimes,
you ever?
yeah,
Because I think that's it's kind of one of those things with us creatives, is that we kind of have that tendency. We look at it a little differently. I mean, yeah, it's not perfect, it's not great, but I would have done this with it.
yeah.
I think it's a weird thing that I do with movies, and books and comics and anything that I read, anything that I watch that's media anyway. Um, I tend to have this headcanon that I start developing as I go.
Yeah. I definitely have like if there's like a like dropped plot point in something, I'll
Hmm.
like sit there and like, well, what is that? Like, is that gonna play back in? And I'll like um me and my buddy when we were watching Battlestar Galactic actually had like a whiteboard and we're trying to like piece everything together. Like,
You're like, did they connect all the dots? No. Yeah, that's I think you grew up an X-Men fan as I recall. You said a couple more than once, but
oh
they
yeah,
were the kings of drop plot points, and
oh
Claremont
yeah.
would
And
Claremont would give you this little nugget and then never pay it off.
yeah,
So
and I had at some point like built an entire timeline and tried to like it was a graph, like it was this huge flow graph thing
flow
of
chart.
like this goes to this goes to this is kind of up in the air, I don't know where to put it yet. And, like I'd mapped out like the entire X-Men timeline and I had
Yeah,
ideas for like stuff that would kind of link the cracks. And
yeah. It's one of those things that I think that's why we get that way with shows and movies is that we're kind of used to it because that's kind of the media that we consume. Just leave the plot point. It's no big deal. What's the worst that could happen?
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, is there anything you say your photography kind of brings you close to those feelings that you had as a kid, and your as far as the enjoyment and loss of time and the playing and getting the excitement. So, those toy lines as a kid, what were they for you?
He-Man, big time.
No,
Transformers, yeah,
I
I
didn't
mean,
know that.
yeah. But yeah, I had a big Masters of the Universe collection. My parents were pretty good, and I had like Eternia, so I had like a really nice collection at one point. Ended up losing a lot of it. I was on vacation with my aunt, and they moved, and I had like a bag full of like Masters figures, and it didn't get packed with anything. So I lost a lot of those old master figures and then gave some stuff away. But I had a big Transformers collection. My cousins had a big G.I. Joe collection. I played with a lot of theirs. And then we had like Black Star and Thundercats mixed in. And
Black Star. That's a name that very rarely get heard anymore.
yeah, but like he was right along with my masters, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
Well, I mean, that was kind of the whole. They fit in well.
yeah. And then we had
So,
the Imperial like they had dragons and chariots and weapons
mhm,
packs and like those were all like master companion
mhm.
pieces. I still have some of that stuff from childhood.
That's good because that stuff's the kind of stuff that we, when we think about toy lines that we would like to see again. Those are one of those ones that's just you could do it really easily.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not like you don't have a basic, Origins bug that you could make a Origins Black Star, but somebody'd have to buy some rights from somebody, and that ain't happening.
yeah.
So you said that most of your toys you gave away, or is there anything that survived to your adulthood?
I have the shell of a vintage Grayskull. Um, like I said, I still have some of those old Imperials. I have a vintage Optimus Prime with a couple of reproduction pieces. Um, but no, not too much. A couple Battle Beasts. But
So as far as reproductions versus originals, it doesn't really matter
yeah,
to
I
you.
don't. Yeah, it doesn't bother me at all. Reproductions. I'm
What is
more
your
about just having the character represented. Like I don't necessarily even need it to be complete.
Yeah. So it for me, I don't care repro original. At the end of the day, it's about a display piece. Now, if I was collecting it for financial reasons, I guess I would want original. But I mean, if you're just going for a look, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, that's how I am.
And with his big Delta 17 reveals today,
Looking good.
apparently, wait, hang on. Tony's referring to phalluses.
Yeah. I have a very interesting multi-phallus shot that I have planned in my head, but have not executed yet. So sometime soon, next month.
Next month, we'll get to it in the new year.
Yeah.
We'll push the boundaries then, right? So, are there any toys that you don't have from your childhood that you would go back and get?
It's all like weird stuff. Like it's the forgotten stuff. Like I would love a warlock from Black Star.
Yeah.
The Tech Force. Do you remember Tech Force? They were another like knockoff brand that fit with Motu, but they had like a robotic horse chariot thing.
I don't think I've ever heard that.
I would love to pick that up.
I was thinking of something like Warlord, like the old Warlord figures.
Yeah, stuff like that would be cool. I have a bunch of the old Remco, like Warrior Beasts and some of their other stuff too. But I'm not actively searching any of that stuff. Like if I ran across it at a shop, I'd probably pick something up. But I've kind of moved on to newer stuff. The vintage isn't hold it for me anymore.
Newer things for you.
Yeah, like I want recreations of that stuff. But something I do want from the vintage days is the Golden Girl castle playset. I would love to have that in the collection.
You have a lot of play sets in your pictures.
Dude,
we're gonna go through right now and look at some of your stuff. I think we're gonna go from what I don't have them really organized in any way other than the way that I tried to get them downloaded one at a time. But when I did, as soon as I did that, it went because I had to download it on my phone because for whatever reason, Instagram on my computer and on my web browsers, it doesn't have any of the photos that anybody sends. So I have to actually download it on my phone, then transfer it from my phone. So what it does in my phone is it organizes it alphabetically and by month. So it's always fun. Always fun. So, all right. So we're going to go through these. And, hello. Go back. Share screen.
Yeah, they weren't in any kind of order when I sent them to you either, though.
So I'll share that one. And it's slow. Why is it not coming up? Okay, what's going on there? We'll try that again. There we go. Good gravy. All right, so this is your Hell Skull. And now this is what you did, right? This is your sculpting.
Yeah, it's my custom Castle Hell Skull.
It's really good. I mean, it works and it looks great.
Yeah, I learned a lot doing that. I definitely will probably make a bigger version of it if I see one of the bigger heads like on sale.
Mm-hmm. And you used a doll head, right, for that part?
Yeah, it's the comb your hair Barbie, like just the head.
Awesome. Whoop. Go back. Oh, back one. Nope. I guess that was one. That was just a big photo. Okay.
Yeah, they're all.
This is your She-Ra.
Yeah.
I do find it interesting that Merman is up there with She-Ra.
Yeah, I wanted him popping out of the water. I don't know, because I had two mermans. Like, I might actually put him back on the Evil Warrior shelf now, because I put the other merman on the Seahorse, and it's like not with the Evil Warriors anymore.
Yeah. But I mean, that Crystal Castle's in decent shape, so I mean, it's nice to display.
Yeah.
And is this the vintage or is this the new one?
That's the vintage Snake Mountain.
Okay.
I have the new one.
Yeah.
I haven't opened it because I don't know what I'm going to do because it's not going to fit in that spot. So I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do with that at the moment.
And I'm assuming this is the Evil Warriors display.
Yeah. Some of them are over on vehicles and stuff. So.
Wrong direction. All right. So this one was interesting. Now, that's your Origins Gray Skull back there. Is that still in the box?
No, it's just the box behind this stuff to kind of like put some kind
and that's the 2000X Gray Skull stuff,
It's
right?
there's like a battle gate. It
Okay.
was like the gates to Grayskull playset kind of came with like a battering ram, and He-Man's on like a little turret up there.
And then you got Wily Kit and Wily Cat just hanging out over
They're
here.
they're above the Thundercats. The Thundercats are below them.
Oh, okay. I was just kind of like, okay, they're just hanging out there with the Masters. That's cool. It's what I did. Now this is your vintage Grayskull because that doesn't look like
No, that's
is it
Origins.
Origins.
Yeah,
Huh. Okay. Now this is that a classic Cyclone or is that a
it's 2000X. Because I was
2000?
actually collecting 2000X, so I have a couple 2000X stand-ins
Oh,
here
okay.
and there. And there's a vintage Rio Blast behind Manny Faces. And there's a couple of customs in there too. Those are not my customs though.
Not your customs, but they are your customs in a way.
Yeah,
Once you own them, they're your
yeah.
customs. Now
So
this is
there's my
I thought this whole kind of setup thing was cool, and I like Demona was up here at the top, and then is that Thalog? I'm assuming.
yeah.
Okay.
So that's my vintage Grayskull. The wooden tower, if anybody knows what that is, my cousins had it when we were kids, and I inherited it when they moved. I have no idea what it is, but I guess it used to have like a drawbridge, and like I've been trying to figure that out for decades now. But I kind of put like my bad guys and mismatched some
Yeah,
bad guys in there.
I was curious about. Hang on, the one that looks like Gravitron.
That's Marzo from the
Is that a
classics.
classics?
Yeah.
Okay, that's why I didn't recognize it. I was like, I haven't seen all the classics figures, so I was curious because it reminds me of Gravitron from Avengers. And you have a giant in there.
I actually have both the giants from classic. Well, I don't have the Procrustes, but I have Titus and Megator. You can't see Megator, but he's on the other side of Eternia there.
And this is kind of just an everything Snake Men kind of on one side with the Snake Tower.
Yeah, I just kind of put them all up there. I don't actually have enough room over there for all the Snake Men they've been putting out. So
Well, would
another thing,
anybody realistically? Let's be
yeah,
honest.
it's another thing I need to rethink.
It's a lot of Snake Men. Okay, now this top castle, this is one that I think Jacob had too, right?
Yeah, it's pretty popular as Hordak's Castle. It's the Primal Age Batman castle.
Because that's really cool. I really
Yeah.
one of these days maybe if once I get space again, I will maybe
If
have
you
to try
read the
one of those.
DC comics, it looks a lot like the castle that they made for him.
Form, yeah. Now this is the Masters of the WWE rings, the Snake Mountain one and the Grayskull one, right?
Yeah, and then I have like most of my wrestlers just kind of piled in over there.
You see Mechanic hiding in the bottom of the
Yeah,
tower.
that's above Grayskull. So that whole
Yeah.
Eternia and like Snake Men and the wrestling rings, that's all like above the Grayskull and the.
Okay, this is killing me. This is a Black Star character, right?
Yeah, it's Overlord. He's the main bad
Okay,
guy.
thank you. It was
Yeah.
killing me. I was like, I know this character. I can't think of the name for the life of me.
Yeah.
Yes, Jacob, they all have their clothes on, shockingly.
Yeah, brick. That's wooden. It's made out of wood. And like I said, it had like a drawbridge with like chains that come through the little like pieces you're seeing in the front.
It's cool looking.
Yeah, I wish I could figure out what it was, but
It's different.
it's beat up. It's missing a parapet up there. Like I said, that's been around as long as I can remember. My older cousin had it when we were kids.
I wonder if it's like one of those, like, didn't they have like a board game that had like towers?
I don't know, pretty big for a board game. But
Well, I know, but they were doing all sorts of weird board games in the 80s.
okay, so since everybody's addressing it in the chat, I don't have display Like my toys aren't having sex on my display. That's only when I'm taking photographs. Yeah,
Well, we
nobody.
knew this was going to come, so
Yeah,
it was going to happen.
but I mean, I don't leave them just like. I mean, sometimes if I set up a shop, they'll stay there for a couple days, and people will walk in and be like, "What the fuck?" But people have gotten used to it by now. It is what
Well,
it
if they
is.
haven't, something's wrong. Okay, let's be honest. So this is the CGI. Now the little blue guy here. What is that?
It's a cute little Star Wars toys from
Okay,
the Young Jedi, but I just thought he was cool and he was cheap.
okay.
So,
I was like, what? That's so random. There's some random stuff in here. It's like
oh, there's a ton of random stuff in there. Yeah,
like Shrek and Fiona right there, and
I like to have like little guys like in the background.
Vivi
Yeah.
from Final Fantasy, and then you got some Dragon Ball.
So this whole area, like the castle stays there, but the whole rest of that shelf is my jungle dial that's constantly getting rearranged depending on what I'm doing at the moment.
And then you have your
So
Christmas plunderlings there.
yeah,
We're back at the Snake Mountain. Okay, is that the slime pit?
it's the Harry Potter version of the slime pit.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, that didn't seem like the right color, but okay. I do like the backdrop on your mythics. That's cool. And then of course you got your orcs from the 5K toys or whatever brand that is. I can't remember what the brand is, but
It's the Star Studios and the Mithril Studios orcs.
I just know where to get them. That's
Yeah,
about as far.
the accessory box for them is all labeled 5K. Like so, like I mix and match them.
And then of course you got the CGI Balrog style Skeletor.
Yeah. And that's like that tower is like from the 2000 Thundercats. It's the Tower of Omens.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
And then the castle over here, I don't think I actually sent a picture of it, but that's the 2000X castle next to him.
I really like
in the Hobbit.
I like the design for that 2000X castle. It's really different.
Yeah. I like the way it folds out too, because like both sides come out.
Yeah.
So it looks a lot more substantial.
Yeah.
And there's a lot
fire
of
alarm.
Yeah. This is like up next to the ceiling. That shelf is super high.
It's kind of an interesting. You've got like horse-drawn buggies with. You got Ula and
Ukla and Ariel.
Yeah.
It's
just cool. There's lots of cool little.
Wink, and there's some of the warrior beasts and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a lot of wink, wink, nod, nod kind of stuff in your collection. And that's, those are the touchstone figures. You've even got a kaiju there, I think.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out what that's from because I don't think it is one of the Imperial dragons. I think it was a different. I mean, there was so many of those like dinosaurs and dragons like when we were kids.
There still is. You can still go buy, a bag of dinosaurs for big plastic rubber dinosaurs.
Yeah, but just not in like the scale that they fit with your action.
No. Anymore. But yeah, that was that whole getting on that fantasy. Dragon Tales. Yes, I'm sure there's Dragon Tales. This is kind of an impressive. I really do like that you kind of the way you've displayed this. Just in general. I mean, you've made it work, and the diodes down below. You got that midline that's.
Yeah, there's a lot that's taken out of like those boxes and the Dungeons and Dragon figures. Like I got tired of trying to make them stand up, so they're just kind of like laying in the shelf over there.
Yeah, they're not fun to try.
They're gonna get the museum wax treatment at some point. I just I don't feel like.
Unfortunately, that's kind of how they are. Yeah. Venger, I think for me is my worst defender. He's on my top shelf.
There's no reason for him to not be able to stand, and he just doesn't.
No, not with feet and that big old hard,
Yeah, but he still finds a way to fall over no matter what pose I put him in.
He takes a frequent head dive off the top shelf.
Yeah. So he's laying in the back of those shelves up there.
Yeah. So I keep waiting to come in and have him be mauled by the small mammals. Now these mini dios with the little the mini Eternia figures, and this is the most recent ones, right?
I think so. I think they've only made like 3 of the packs. So
Yeah, because it's just cool.
yeah.
You're making good use of shelf space, and it's interesting stuff. But
Those are right behind my crafting station, so they're usually blocked with like paints and other stuff that gets piled there.
now
So
what is this? Is that a Batman?
that's Griffith from Berserk.
Okay, all right. Hang on, I gotta zoom in because
It's Femto actually, because it's his transformed version. But spoilers for something that's been going since the late '80s.
yeah, exactly. Okay, I was like that looks like a Batman. Okay. Mumra is really good.
Yeah, he looks.
For me, that's the only figure that I really, really like. The rest of them are just kind of eh. And that's sad because I love Thundercats.
I got to get up for just a second, or my cat's going to keep meowing at
You're
me.
fine.
I'll be right back.
I'll just check in with chat. Warrior Beast, Thundar, Blackstar, yes, definitely. Wait, did the dragon read tell stories to the kids? I vaguely remember. I don't.
I don't know.
For me, I want a little bit more articulation in the mutants break, just a little bit.
I would love more articulated whole line of
Because
Thundercats.
my Vulture, his legs are awful. His feet are even worse. They're like floppy little. I mean, he can barely hold his own weight.
I haven't had any issue with him.
It's been bad.
My Jackal's fallen a couple times, but
yeah. So okay. So we're discussing the other end of the spectrum from where we're going to go here in a minute. We're going to kids PBS television programming. So, all right. So I think we only got a couple left. See, this is another Dio, and then you have some display, and there's something dynamic about that, just in general. You got your vehicles. Okay, what are these robotic dogs over here?
they're actually not robotic. They're from the Chapmay fantasy line. They're a little too small for Motu, but they kind of work. So Two Bad's riding a two-headed wolf. The Griffin, I had an Evil Lyn on it, but Evil Lyn is frequently a Wednesday participant, so she got taken off and hasn't been put back on there.
But you kind of you have a nice width and breadth of different,
Yeah, you can tell I like vehicles and playsets. Like,
yeah, I can't tell it all.
A lot of those, so yeah.
Well, and the thing is that you have them. They're not in static, displays with everybody standing in the same, pose, and nobody moves. These are at least moderately dynamic.
That's my creeper shelf.
This is your creeper shelf, creepy shelf. Skeleton Warrior.
Yeah.
I know what that is, isn't it?
Okay. Yeah. I don't remember the guy's name, but it is a Skeleton Warrior. But it's got like a lot of my D&D creatures. Those are like a couple of golden.
For about half a second, I thought this skeleton with the axe had a guitar, and I was like, wait, you have a guy with a guitar?
I did just get a bunch of guitars. I got 2 guitars, a bass, and I'm waiting on a drum set to come in. So
there's a lot of good stuff on the shelf. Creepy crawlers. Then you got a slimy.
Yeah.
You got a slime.
When I worked at the game store, we had a bunch of those slimes for one of the Dragon Warrior games. My dog ate a couple of them. All I have left is the green slime, but I had like a metal slime and a couple other ones.
And is this the Skeleton New Adventures skull?
Yeah, it's Nordor, the New Adventure playset. I need to put up another shelf by the Starship Attorney and make a space background for that whole section, but I haven't gotten around to doing that yet. The two-headed thing is the Demogorgon. It's a D&D Demogorgon from Loot Crate. I don't know when it came out. I just I saw it and it was like relatively cheap. It was like $20-25, something like that. I was like, yes, please. almost no articulation. Like its arms move a little bit, but
And sometimes if you're just looking for something for display, you don't need it to have that. But yeah, okay. Evelyn is ready for nasty time. Yes, okay.
that's why she's not on her griffin.
That's why she's no longer shelved. She's shelved, but not shelved.
Yeah, and
So
this is
okay. Is that an elf quest?
it's not. It's she came with like a big green monster. It's from the Toy Biz Marvel thing. I can't remember who she is.
Is that supposed to be Shanna,
I
the
don't
wife
think
of
so.
Gazar?
I don't know because she's like a smaller character. I can't remember who she is. Um,
But
Showed up
I
in
mean,
the
it would
late
work great for
300s of
elf.
X-Men. I just can't
Yeah,
remember.
it would work great for that though. Elf quest. You got a
Yeah,
dessert.
Drist. Yeah,
See, and you got
Tinkerbell.
Tinkerbell, and then you got this gray alien.
Yeah,
There's some interesting ideas here, and then you got that baby land shark, and then the baby Castle Grayskull.
yeah. And Trunks' time machine up there. This is and those are the mushrooms I got from Kayla's mom that are by the
Oh,
not
nice.
the red one but the two green ones there. So that's my jungle dio. It moves around all the time. That's what I take a lot of pictures on. Like if I'm not using the screen, I'm using that most of the time, or sometimes an extreme set. But
Ooh, go back. So this was interesting. You got kind of this. Everybody's coming out the top. There's a deathlock. Is that a deathlock?
it's the 2000X Zodak.
Okay, because obviously the image isn't as great. When I see it, it's like, is that a marble deathlock? No, there's your Gwildor.
Yeah.
Oop, go back.
Yeah, and I got like Sir Laserlot and the two giants there.
Here's another look at the other side of that.
Yeah. So
Forest
that's like
style.
my main photography shelf, basically. That and this shelf above me.
Okay, and these two up top, I couldn't place them.
League of Legends found at the dollar store. Thought they'd make
Okay.
little background characters.
All right, and this one.
Trobit from Black Star.
Okay. And of course your Plunderlings, and you got Vivi.
Yep.
It's interesting that you have Shrek and Fiona all the way up there. That's interesting. All right, so there's your Bratz car full of your
Put Goku and Piccolo in
Piccolo.
there. Nod to the driving episode with them. I need to take a shot of that, but I just haven't gotten around to it.
And this is the Prince Adam one. I was curious what the deal. I'm assuming this is like pre-transformation imagery.
It's a problem with power. When he
Okay,
thinks he killed somebody and he like drops it off the parapet,
got
like
it.
and he's like,
Got
I'm
it.
not going to
Okay.
be He-Man anymore. So I have like a moon lamp behind there, and then these clouds are like fluorescent. And they're just cotton. They're kind of peeling off. But and I need to dust that shelf. I haven't dusted that in a while. So this section, I have like 2 boxes of a 9-box like cube, and I eventually want to fill it up with just different scenes from Masters.
And this is the one from the comic.
Yeah, that one I've shown off a lot.
The mini comic, yeah.
Yeah.
I guess I got 2 shots of that one. Okay.
This is the idea for like kind of like my filmation thing. Like when I first started building dials, is one of the early things I did. I did the 2 little towers on the side, and then made some like risers for them to stand on. And I always would have liked to have seen Eldor and Hero show up if filmation had continued. So I just kind of put them there because they're done in this style anyway.
Yeah. Well, you might get them now. You never know.
Yeah.
You know, they may break down and finally do them. I think this is just an overall shot. Now, I'm assuming that's a vehicle from Princess of Power, right?
Yeah, it's like a little seahorse thing. I don't remember what it was called. And it's missing pieces, and it broke, and I glued it back together. But
So Rick is asking if you're going to get the other two horses.
waiting for them to come in.
Yeah, I just got the notice that they're going to be a little bit farther off on Poxus. So I was like, okay, well, that's fine.
Yeah, I'm okay with
That'll
that.
save me a little bit on my pocketbook. Now, these are a little more up close. Hang on, come back. A little up
Yeah, I
close.
did a more
Health
close
ball.
shot of those because those are like my 3 customs: the Tila, Sorceress, and then my idea for Man at Arms was he dismantled Roboto and used his parts to upgrade himself.
No, it looks good.
Yeah, I haven't done too many customs, but
I think that is everything that you sent me.
I sent you a lot.
You did. You did send me a lot, but you know, it's worth going over. That's the whole point of this, is to go over them so we get to see cool stuff.
Yeah. Funny thing is, like, that's actually like not a lot of my. I mean, it's a lot of my collection, but if you look behind me, I have these
Yeah.
like hangers, and they're just full of toys, and I have 2 more over here that are just like Marvel toys. So
You know what? I think we all kind of have those, but you wanted to focus on these. So these were the things that meant something to you.
yeah,
So
Masters is definitely my display. The
yeah,
rest of it is kind of.
is there? I know because you do a lot of independent lines too. What is it that kind of makes you want a figure? What is it that attracts you to the figure, I should say?
I mean, nostalgia is a big thing. Like, I wouldn't have Masters and Thundercats and all that stuff if it wasn't for nostalgia. But as far as the new stuff goes, it's weird because it's normally it's like, oh, this looks kind of cool. But if it looks cool and I get it in hand and it's like it's fun, like the posability's good, you just your imagination starts running with it. Then it's like, okay, like AWOC, I was like, I'm gonna get Thane and Kali. I think those 2 look cool. And then once I got one in hand, I was like, oh, okay, I want a bunch of these. So then I ended up getting not all of them, but a good chunk of them.
So does we kind of have this group of folks, and we kind of all we're kind of influence peddlers for each other.
Yeah.
Does that community of collectors kind of sometimes get to you and make you choose stuff that you normally probably would just go, hey, I don't know that I would need it, but
Legions was that way.
yeah.
I didn't really. It's like I don't really like. They're cool. They're fantasy, but at the time, like when everybody was getting into them, I was like Motu. I'm getting my fantasy from Motu, but actually learning about them and like Brick was asking like if I'm getting the Horsemen. The concept of the 4 horsemen and their horses really sold me. Like, so I can have these crazy bads like just entering my realm and bringing all their minions with them. So
Or the non-World of Warcraft stuff.
I need to not go
Yeah.
complete
Those are
because
like
like
what, $70 a piece?
let's see, I don't even remember. I think there were 60 for 2 of them, and I think I paid maybe 80 for one. But they're expensive.
Yeah.
And like the one that looks like Thrall, the one that was in the robes, like that was a whole nother kit that I bought to make him look like another character. So like there's that aspect to those too. Like you could buy multiple orcs and dress them up different ways.
Yeah, and that's the trick. I mean, a lot of it has to do with what we can do with it. So it's always about how many different ways can we find a way to use that toy that's meaningful to us.
Yeah. Well, Warcraft is a big nostalgia thing for me too. I played the first game, I played the second game, I played the hell out of the third game. And then World of Warcraft took like a decade of my life away. Like I got lost in Azeroth for a long, long time. Speaking of obsessions, I mean, I played that game obsessively.
I think we all kind of get those we do that like migration from video games when we're younger, then we start going back into the collectibles, and then it goes into toys, and then we might go back into video games. If we all kind of like teeter in and out of all of those things at once.
Yeah.
That, sir, is a straight out lie.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't have got into Legions without Legion class. I'm glad I did though. Like I love that line.
No, I do too, and I probably wouldn't have bought a single Cosmic Legion had it not been for anybody.
I've only got
Also,
I've gotten 2 Cosmics, but I only paid for one. I won a Cosmic, and then I bought the Ias just because I wanted a gray that looked. And he looks like he could be kind of fantasy, like maybe crash landed on a medieval style.
He-Man was always science fiction and fantasy. It was never one or the other, and there's a reason that's why it worked better. It's because you could play in both worlds. Yeah, it still had magic, but it also, I mean, they were riding around in flying jets.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like it was, wasn't old ages running around on chariots, and I mean they were, but they weren't.
Yeah.
So it was always a little bit more dynamic than that. So if you were the only person that was going to collect a line, let's say that the only one in your friend group that was collecting a line, would you continue doing it?
Yeah, I don't know if anybody else is in on like the Warcraft stuff like I am, but I'm like, those are my jam. Those orcs are good. Like those are super fun toys. Everybody go out and buy an orc right now. Like, no, I'm kidding. Well, Brick has one, but he's had a bad experience with it. So
Tony, see, there it is. It's science and swords and sorcery.
Yeah.
Although I will have to say, Brick is saying something about that Four Horsemen quality. This second wave of Legions figures are starting. The Cosmic Legions are starting to show some cracks. So I don't know if this was just something inherent, because that first Legions was Kragnar for me, with the damn hips that wouldn't hold his weight. That's an engineering issue.
Yeah, I had an issue with the gray from the Cosmic. It wasn't the torso that everybody was worried about. It was the hand like popped off in the peg
Snaps
state.
off.
Yeah.
That's been happening far more than it should, and that's a few and far between. So I'm not going to say that that's
it's the only
something that they need to address and move, go forward. Hopefully, it's just shit happened at the factory during this run, and we won't see it again. Because if it happens again with Poxus and Necrodominus, I think people are going to go riot.
I'm gonna be real mad because I've got a lot pre-ordered, like already paid.
Well, I'm just thinking about all those spindly joints on the skeletons.
Yeah, the skeletons look pretty solid though. They look more solid than the gray anyway.
Well, yeah, and there's some. Okay, there you go. By quality, he meant more so the design, sculpts, and paint. Yes, they are.
That's, you can't argue with it, I don't think.
Yeah, no. And this is a possibility. No one's really said exactly what it is yet, and nobody in the Cabal anyway. But I see a post every day, and there's somebody upset about shit snapping off, and it's like, I'm just gonna be gentle with mine. Kid gloves.
Other than that one wrist popping off, I haven't had any issues.
And it may just be something about that particular figure, because it seems to be that figure that has a lot of the issue.
But he looks cool.
Yeah, he looks cool if you. So one of the things that we do as collectors is, some of us we leave and come back. Some of us we collected all of our lives. So where do you kind of fall on that spectrum? Are you the one that stopped and came back, or you've always collected something in some form or another?
I stopped collecting toys like early teens probably, but I never stopped with comics, because I picked up comics early and I just kept with comics. I still read comics. Like I have a backlog of stuff to read right now, but I'll always go back to it. Toys, but like in my early 20s, I picked toys up again, and I had like a crazy collection then. Like I was doing the 2000X, and I was just kind of anything, like random stuff, like the Jay and Silent Bob figures I have are like back from then. The Space Ghost figure I have is back from then. So I picked up a lot, and then when I moved, I binned it all up, and it went through like 2 different moves with me without ever coming out of the box. And then when Origins came out, I was literally like a stalker with those toys. I saw them at the store. I'm like, ooh, oh my God, they're doing He-Man again? And I didn't buy them. I was like, I'm not going to buy these. Like, I don't need to do that to myself and, start that whole journey again. Cause
Famous last words.
I'd been an adult collector, but every time I go to the store, I'd see them and I'm like, I'll just get He-Man and Skeletor. It's like, okay. It's like, well, they're probably not going to do a whole lot of these. I'll get like the first wave and, and then like by wave 4, I'm like hunting these actively now, so I'm like literally stocking the stores and stuff. So,
well, I think the thing is that was good about it is that the packaging is identical to the packaging that we had as kids. So they, no matter what they say, that was geared toward a certain age group.
Oh yeah, it was.
I mean,
100%
marketed
at the people they'd already programmed to buy
that
these.
Knew exactly what that package meant.
Yeah. Well, in the form factor too. That had been a dead form factor in toys forever. Like
exactly. It was interesting the first time that I saw those. I was like, oh, you bastards.
Yeah.
I see what you did there. And no, I'm not falling for it. I don't have a whole lot of Origins. I have mostly vehicles because they will fit the Masterverse just with a little bit of rejiggering, as I like to call it. But and I have He Skeletor, Anti-Attorney He-Man. I think I have some of the, a couple of the like Battle Armor He-Man, Battle Armor Skeletor. I don't have a whole lot. There's probably 20, maybe 10 or 2, 3, 4, 5. About 20 figures.
Yeah, I'm still all in on Origins till the end of the road. I want to have a full Masters collection in there.
So I will probably get a couple of the Filmation ones, like Beastman. I'll get a Merman. I'll get a Tila. I'll get some of those basic figures just to have a set. I don't care that the aesthetics are mildly different. They don't really, in my head, they don't look that much different.
Yeah, you can definitely use them together.
So, and get a Trap Jaw. So, Trap Jaw and Many Faces, since Amazon canceled my damn Many Faces. I've worked with them. Yeah, exactly. Shake your head about that. Amazon canceled it for no reason.
No, they canceled for me too. I just happened to reorder it at the right time and got put back on. But that's frustrating. Like Walmart's canceled so many of my pre-orders. When Amazon canceled my pre-order for Many Faces, I was like irritated, like really irritated. Target canceled something on me too. Oh, the Sunman pack.
And I don't get that because I can walk into a Target and find it on the shelf here.
Yeah. I didn't respond to an email they sent at like 3 a.m.
3 a.m. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's how they play. They did that for a while with the Python Patrol Vipers.
Yeah.
Because it took them almost a year. I think it was a year in pre-order.
Yeah.
Almost.
Those emails should be like, do you want to opt out? Not, hey, we're going to throw you out. It's like, no, I pre-ordered because I wanted it. I never expect this stuff to come on time. I only expect it to come in when it's going to be an inconvenience. That's why I leave a little extra money in the account.
I did see. Oz has a point here. He-Man, Skeletor, Castle Grayskull, Point Dread, Snake Mountain later. So I will say that I do have a Castle Grayskull Origins in my garage. I may get a Snake Mountain, but that would be just for like a Dio and to eventually do a Dio with those. But I'd have to have the space for it. It's one of those things that I have to make the space for it. It would probably end up being in my garage, which is why I would do it with the Origins figures, because they're heavier plastic, so they're not going to do as much floppy with heat in the cold.
I've had a couple of knees snap on the Origins figures already, so that is something to be careful about.
You've got an attorney coming, don't you?
Yeah, I have a vintage and I got the new one. There's something wrong with me. I don't know what I'm going to do.
Well, here's the thing: is that the vintage you can just hide. I did get a Point Dread Oz for $15 at Target when the damn price dropped of $15.99. I bought the damn Point Dread. Now I kicked myself for it, but it was still $15, and I was worth buying at $16 with tax. So, yeah, I looked at attorney. I was like, I don't have a space for it, and I don't have that attachment to the Origins line as it is. I like the Masterverse line, but I'm to the point now where I'm really picky and choosy with a lot of the lines that I don't. I'm pretty much gonna say I'm gonna collect Joe and I'm gonna collect Cosmic Legions. Mythic is a pick and choose. Masterverse is a pick and choose. AWOC is gonna be a pick and choose. I'm starting to come down from my
gotta have it all.
Yeah, I have to, because there's just the space is there's not enough space for everything that I would want.
Yeah, I was gonna say Mythic is like a pick and choose for me, but it's also like, oh, let me just take half that wave.
Yeah. Well, I got on the Rising Suns. I got a gift card for Christmas, so of course that precipitated, crap. Now I gotta go this and this and this. So I ended up getting 4 figures. I got the 2-pack of dwarves, and I got Atlas, and then I got Neve.
Yeah.
And I will probably go back and get what's her name, the other chick, female, blue one.
The Shadow Elf. I don't remember her name.
Yeah, I can't remember her name either. It's my brain. But I'll probably end up getting that one. Yes, Brick, Eternia does work with Masterverse, but unfortunately, it does not work with my space. That's where I have to draw the line. His tank was enough to cure me of like delusions of grandeur on space.
Yeah.
I would have to give up my garage, and that's not happening.
Yeah, I'm in the process of reworking my garage, but I have a lot of stuff. I'm gonna have to borrow a friend with a truck and make Minnie a dump run to clear out some stuff in there so that I can fit some more stuff in there.
See, and the other thing in the garage is all my comics.
Yeah.
Now, I don't actively collect physical copies anymore. I'm digital when I buy.
Yeah.
It's like, I have to make a choice space-wise. Which one am I going to do?
Yeah.
So
I love digital media for that. Like not having to have like a million DVDs and a million comics it's beautiful.
It's nice when I can just go click on it and it's ready there, and I don't have to go hunt it down. And which back issue bin that I have it in? Which bin is that one in? And I have labels, but I have, I don't know, probably 25, 30 long boxes full.
Damn, you got a lot.
Staples, Staples paper ream boxes. They work great.
Yeah.
But I probably have another 10 of those. And then I have a bunch of boxes in my actual attic that are full of other comics that are from the 90s. So there's like this, it's bad. Comics was a bad thing for about.
You got a lot more than I do. Like I have the closet behind all those hanging toys is full of comics, like literally full of comics. But you have more than I do.
Yeah, it's bad. So that's one of those things where I have to be smart about what I spend my money. Space-wise, I don't want to have to get rid of my comics, because there's some comics out there that I've had since I was 10.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I have like comics since like I don't even know how old I was. Like I would scrounge change out of the couch and run down to the store and pick up comics like off the rack. And I still have all those old comics.
I have most of them. There's some that I had to replace because I read the crap out of those comics.
I have some that are beat up too, and I've given some away, and I've sold some, but I still have a ton.
The funny thing is, I gave away my GI Joe comics.
Yeah, I still have a GI Joe #1. One of my cousin's boyfriends gave me a stack of comics and it had a GI Joe #1 in it. I still have
So
it.
I had like 1 through 55 or 56 in like a binder. They were all poly sleeved with backers, and I just gave it away because at the time I wasn't in that genre
Yeah.
of comics. So coming back to toy collecting and just collecting in general, are there any rules for what makes it to your collection?
I used to have rules. I kind of
Used to have rules.
I used to have rules because I was like I was just sticking to Motu, and then it's like, oh well, fantasy, and it's like, oh, starting to get into sci-fi. It's like, oh man, like um I don't know. Photography blew that all apart too because I wasn't doing any like superhero stuff, and then I would see people doing like superhero pictures. I was like, yeah, it looks fun. So I'd pick up some cheap Marvel Legends here and there, and now I have, like I said, I got like 2 sleeves full of them over there. Um, I don't really have any rules. It's just if I think it looks cool and I can afford it, I guess. I do need to
So
slow down because
yeah, well,
I have no more space. Like I have stuff coming in, and I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do with this.
yeah, you got to fit that thunder,
Yeah, the Eternia, the
cat's
Thunder,
lair, and then
the
Eternia.
Catslayer, the yeah, like I
It's
know what
okay.
I know
You
where I'm
can
going to
double
put
one
those.
and start charging people rent.
Yeah, that's what people keep saying. I know where I'm going to put those. Like I said, I need to move some stuff so that I can move some more stuff out to the garage, and I'm gonna because like my whole crafting area is out in the toy room as well. So I'm gonna
Yeah.
move all that out to the garage, and I'm gonna set up like a little photography area out in the garage too, and then where all of that photography equipment and crafting equipment is will be the Cat Slayer and Eternia. They'll fit there. It'll be a little snug, but they'll fit there.
Yeah, no. So, is there anything in your collection that stays in the box?
Yeah. My radio controlled Thanos copter and my Hot Wheels Thanos copter.
So the only things in your so everything else comes out. You let everything else breathe.
Yeah,
That's
pretty
interesting
much.
choices.
I'm trying to think if I have anything else that's in box that I haven't opened. I mean, I have some stuff I need to open, but no, I gotta play with my toys. If I'm not gonna play with it, then I might as well do the McFarlane digital toys at that point, right?
Or the Mattel digital toys. You remember
Yeah.
those?
Well, didn't they already take that server down?
Yeah. No, I can remember that guy. The guy that was working on it came on was on a Mega J show, and he was trying to defend it, and you could just see that he was getting frustrated.
Yeah.
Talking in the chat about it, and I was just like, dude, you're trying to sell something to people that people don't want. You're
Yeah.
selling an ephemeral product for something that's a very real thing. People want tangible toys. They don't want.
If they had made some kind of little game out of running around with those, kids would have
Yeah.
bought that stuff.
Yeah.
But
Other than that, I don't see any of the other people wanting it.
yeah.
Yeah, just what I want. Another NFT that I can't use.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever. That whole thing just makes me irritated as shit. I learned my lesson about digital property rights when there was a card game, X-Men Battle of the Atom, on iPhone and Fire, Amazon Fire, and everything else. It was basically a card battle game,
Yeah.
and I probably spent about $200 by the time I was done with it. And then they, about no 4 months later, after spending the last little bit of money on it, it's like I'm not spending any more money on it. They closed down.
Yeah.
So I learned my lesson on digital property and just don't waste your money.
I'm gonna be bummed when they shut the GTA 5 and the Warcraft servers down because I spent a lot of time on both those games and I have like massive collections in those games. Like if
It's going to be a
ever.
while for either one of those to go away.
Well, 5 will probably go down within the next few years because
I
6 is
don't
coming.
know.
I don't know.
Even
They're,
with 6 coming,
they're
they'll
still
still keep.
profitable, so it
Yeah,
depends how long it stays profitable.
yeah. As long as they're still making money, they won't care. What's up, Sir Clifton? How you doing, sir? Okay, why is this not showing now? Good gravy. That's being a pain in the ass. So, oh, goodness, sticky. What is it about toys that makes it a desirable hobby for you?
Well, so it's like art, but you can move it around, you can touch it, you can feel it, you can tell your own story with it. Like, I don't know.
So, is there when we're gonna get into the talking about the naughty pictures and the just in general about the toy photography. Now, yeah, I've dabbled. I don't do a whole lot of anything lighting wise. I mean, I'll throw a light atop it or throw a light to the side of it, those kind of things where I can actually see it. But there's a little more art to it, and I was curious about kind of the beginnings of that. Decide that went from vanilla toy photography to the more salacious. I'll say. I'll
Um,
leave it at that.
so well, let me start off. Like, I wasn't even doing toy photography really. I was showing off dios, and then Oz was like, post to Instagram. And I like to challenge myself. So I was like, well, if I'm going to post daily. And I was like, I'll post daily for a year, every day, Like,
Mm,
so at first it was like, here's this, here's that, here's that. And I already had some pictures taken because I'd shown off some stuff like on Reddit or like other places. Um, and I just kind of, like fell into doing photography and I was having fun with it. I'm not sure why. I was like, getting props here and there, and it's like I saw these, the Feichin dolls, the seamless naked
mm,
body, and I was like, well, let me order one of those. And yeah, I wanted to see like how it like fit with the toys, and it turned out the Origins heads just pop right on that little ball. They fit perfectly. Some of the other toys you have to put a little sticky tack or something in
yeah.
there to make it work. But initially, I did a shot, and it was just it was Tila and Adam, and I kind of hid the trunks with Tila's body, and they're in like a nice little embrace, and it was super popular. Like that one got like
Mm,
way more likes than anything else I did. So I would, it's like, well, okay, people like that, and I would do it a little bit more. And then I was like, well, let me make every Wednesday a hump day, you
yeah.
know. And I don't know why I came up with Hump Day and Fisto Friday. Like Fisto Friday is like I'm at my wits end with Fisto. Like honestly, like I never even liked him that much as a character. He has that the meminess to him. So like he's been very tame this month. He'll get back to his shenanigans next month. Check my smile. Mention the body's okay. So I don't know. I really don't know why I started doing it. I mean, it's another art tool, right? Like
Yeah.
it's a different situation you can put the figures in. Some of it's funny, some of it is, like I said, kind of like I
And
don't
some
want to say
people get
romantic,
butthurt and
tender.
report it, and then it's one of those things where some of that is that notion of puritanism that we have in this country, which is an absurd notion at this point. We
Yeah.
forget that we're animals, whether we like it or not. But I think that there's something somewhat healthy about it. It's acknowledging that the world is what it is, that people are what they are, and we're gonna do what we're gonna do with the toy. It's a Rule 34, never to be explained, right? So it's
I mean, like
He's not
honestly,
wrong. Is that what?
he's not wrong. I have tremendous issues. I'm not going to go into like everything here, but I was sexualized at an early age that I probably
Yeah.
shouldn't have been.
Okay.
So maybe it is a way to kind of
Cope with that.
cope with that. I don't know. I've never thought that deeply about it. You know, and
It is a possible way to work through trauma. I mean, that happens.
yeah.
And
So
we all work through it differently, and we're all going to express it in different ways. In some ways, this is your healthy way of working through it.
yeah,
You know, you might offend a few people, but I think some of that is intentional.
I've always been probably a little too offensive. Like honestly, you know, so kind of a loudmouth when I was younger. Until I got a couple ass kickings here and there that I rightfully deserved. So maybe it is just the way of being, like in your face, like kind of thing. But I don't think
Yeah.
so. I prefer the tender shots, and the other stuff I just kind of throw out there to be like, oh, let's see
See
how
how
people
far I can
react to
push it.
this one. Yeah, and
Yeah.
that's another thing too, is just like habitually line stepping to see like, huh?
How
Huh?
far you can go.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Huh?
Testing
But then
boundaries.
like
That's
some of the
always
stuff I've
interesting, right?
posted, I'm like I think the worst one I've done, not the worst, but like the most graphic one I've done is the one where He-Man's like, it looks like a penetration shot. He's holding Tila out front, and like
Yeah.
it's graphic. I was surprised when I got away with that one. But that's another thing too. Like you push it, and then more people like, "Oh, I want to see more of that." And it's like I don't really want to do that. All like Naughty November was a lot, and a lot of those shots were tame. But I
Well,
don't want to do
and
that
that's the
all
other
the
thing
time.
is that then people come to expect it, and then when you go back to the PG, it's like
Yeah,
I feel gypped.
yeah,
That's their attitude about it. It's not me personally. I prefer the photography just for the photography. It's kind of one of those things. I'm one of those people that likes toy photography that's dynamic and interesting and something different, and it's something that I want to do more of. But with my other multitude of things that I'm doing, I really don't have time for it.
yeah. It
So
is it is like a nice way for me to like actually play with the toys though. So I'm glad I found it.
yeah.
Because before
So
I'd look at my shelf and I'd be like, oh, let me just adjust this stance ever so
mhm.
slightly. And then I just kind of stare at the shelf and stare at the shelf. But now it's like stare at the shelf for a little bit and like, take him down. And stare around, take this one down. And it's fun. Like I have a really good time doing it.
So Patrick Few had a question earlier. I started it. I originally had it up. So favorite custom figure character you each made, and why did you like it? So I will let you go first, and then I will.
My favorite one is the sorceress, the anti-eternia sorceress. I liked how her bone wings came out. I like the evil nature of it, and then it goes with the hell skull that I made. So
So for me, so far, my favorite custom that I did was the Pythona that I gave to Black Genghis. As far as what it taught me how to play and work with the epoxy sculpt. Still not great at it. That's why I'm trying other stuff just to try stuff. I will always try to find something different, um, just so I can have a variety of skills. I know I went out and got carving tools and stuff that I can do carving on, you know, some more future projects. But that's probably the one that I learned the most from. Because the Cobra Commander one I didn't really learn. The hooded Cobra Commander head I didn't learn much on. Jinx I learned a little bit about how things went together and broke apart, and you learn how the wastes work or how the diaphragm cut works, and once you start breaking them down, you realize that this sucks. I don't want to have to put it back together, because putting it back together is a totally different animal.
yeah, I
Because
haven't.
you can break them apart by getting them wet and really hot. You cannot put them together by getting them wet, because your paint goes bye-bye.
Yeah, I
So
haven't really
when you,
gotten that in depth with customs, so might have been
it's
pop and swap.
so speaking of things you haven't done with your toys yet, What are things that you want to do with your toys that you don't?
If I had the time, stop motion. I would love to get into stop motion. I don't have the time for it though. I definitely want to build some more dios. I have ideas for like 4 or 5 different dios. I have a couple started that I need to finish, and I want to do some like basic stuff, some more modular stuff, things I can fit together with magnets, break them down, for easy storage and easy access. But yeah, if I had the time, stop motion for sure.
So, is there any figures from your childhood or before, or anything that since then that you would like to see done with today's articulation and designs, and anything that from the past that isn't being remade currently, mind you? Because we got
There's
a
a lot
ton
of
of stuff.
stuff.
There's a ton of nostalgia crap coming our way.
Yeah. I Black Star is my number one. Thundar would be a close number 2. Herculoids would probably be number 3. Just those old fantasy cartoons, all the nostalgia I have for them, and in my brain they all kind of go together. Like I always imagine those planets were out there in the same galaxy as Eternia, or Cybertron or Sagar, or like all those planets that just kind of existed.
Yeah. So yeah, finally got this thing to print, so I had to pull it before it got cold. Once it gets cold, it's a bitch to print. Pull off the printer.
I do wish there was a way for like the big companies to, the smaller companies to actually petition them and have like a reasonable, avenue to like make something. Like, Ramen's doing the Centurions and the Marshall,
Mask.
but like, and Mask, but it's like, there's really no reason he should be having to go out of bounds to do that if a company's sitting on the property doing nothing with the property.
Exactly. You would think that they would want to license it at the very least.
Yeah.
To get the money from the license. I mean, what's the worst that could happen? They do something that you don't like? I mean, that's kind of the point of having a license. This bastard.
Another
gonna fight with me. At least it printed this time. So now I get to remeasure and do it again. The joys of 3D printing, kids. When you try to retrofit shit.
Yeah.
This is what happens. So, are there any figures in your collection that you're missing that you want?
Toynami's Thundar. I have Ukla and Ariel. I would love to have the Thundar to go with it. I mean, I'd rather have a new Thundar, but it's a pretty big one. I don't know. Does it have to be characters that they're actually toys of, or ones that?
No,
like Marvel Legends, I would love a Marrow. I would love the Fallen, which was the vampire version of Archangel. Like, there's a few characters I would love to see made into toys that don't have toys or don't have modern versions of them.
There's a lot of there's so much stuff up. They just need to finish some teams, and then we can get it. I need a real Wolfsbane, and I need a real Feral, and I need a Wild Side, and I need some of those. I need a Rainfire. I need a Sunspot. You can use that Rainfire buck as either Sunspot or Age of Apocalypse Sunspot, because it's the same character basically.
Yeah.
Aesthetically, anyway. I mean, there's a lot of those, figures that we don't get, which is ridiculous. So, is there any toys that you would think you would like to see change hands as far as companies developing them and designing them? You kind of briefly touched on Ramen taking on some of the bigger. You'd like to see them do some license stuff, and I would too. I mean, that would be great.
I just want an avenue for properties that are rotting to be able to be accessed. Like, I don't even think that's unreasonable. I mean, I realize there's like all the corporate greed and nonsense and the tangled web of rights, because this was a comic one time and it was also a TV show and it was also a toy line, and then that like a whole nightmare. But I don't know. Repeat the question, because I went off on a tangent and I'm lost now.
So, as far as a toy line changing the
Toy line changing hands.
Company.
Um,
say like you want, let's say Mythic Legions, Four Horsemen get a hold of Masters of the Universe again. I know there's a whole lot of been there, done that kind of thing for them, but
yeah,
let's say they do something like Black Star.
I would like that. I don't think I need to see them do that though. Like I would like probably Spiro to do Black Star more than any other company.
That would be interesting.
I mean, I keep hassling Kyle from Super 7 to the point where he's like, I don't care about Black Star, like, which I get. But I think they would do good, like, look wise, but I would love, like, really articulated version of it. I don't want to bag on Todd McFarlane too much, but I wish his multiverse was in scale with Legends. It's like, come on, you guys are both doing comic books. You don't need to be like nice. Slightly larger.
And I would love I don't really give a shit about the toe articulation. I just don't. Give me some thigh articulation, or at least a boot that turns, something so they all don't look like they're like having to be statues.
I still want Spider-Man with toe articulation, because like some of them have it, so
somebody like that, yes. Yeah. But does Red Hood need it? Does the Joker need it?
Yeah, I don't think my Superman needs it really.
The likelihood that the Joker is going to be in a dynamic enough pose, unless he's getting his head beat in, need a toe articulation. I'm just saying.
Yeah. See, to bag on Todd McFarlane though, I hate his Warcraft toys. It's part of the license that they're statues. They're not movable. But if you look at his Diablo toys, they're the right size to fit in with action figures. The paint jobs are nice, but the Warcraft ones are smaller and their paint jobs are terrible. I saw them in person the other day and they're bad. Like they're too small to actually like fit in with anything, and the paint jobs are just awful. Like just god awful.
There's that it's Diablo, right? That he's got the
he's got Diablo. Yeah, he's got Diablo statues and Warcraft statues.
They look great, but I'm just like, I don't want a statue. If I want a statue, I'll go buy a statue.
Yeah, and then his Vox Machina, like I bought those toys, and I've never been more disappointed with modern toys.
I looked at them. They had them at Ross for $5.99. I was tempted,
but then they never finished the team out either. Yeah. Like I probably would have suffered through and bought the whole team from McFarlane
if they had gotten them all. Yeah,
if they'd actually done it.
Yeah. Okay, Brick is saying he does like the toe articulation, but I agree. There's other articulation that needs to come first. But for whatever reason, there's toes that make no damn sense. Does Bane having a articulated toe?
Yeah. Well, I mean, like Marvel Legends too. That new Jean Grey, she has no torso articulation.
Yeah, I don't understand that either.
The other Jean Greys have it. It's like, why are you downgrading?
Neither does the Luke Cage. The Luke Cage doesn't have.
Yeah, I noticed that. It's kind of a bummer.
Waist articulation, which is like it's just interesting that they're not doing. The one thing I do really like about the Mythic Legions is that modularity, especially in that waist to abdominal area, that easy to pop spot. I would love if everybody did that.
Yeah, it does make for good
art. And I would be a happy camper, because as a customizer, I can tell you there are so many different dumbbell weird shit in the middle there. It's frustrating. I can't tell you how many of those things I snap on a regular basis, no matter how hot I make it.
I get mad when I pop a head off and it's got the ball attached to the inside of the head that goes into the neck. I hate that. Like, just stop as toys doing that, please.
Yeah, I don't understand why we can't have uniform ball joints, and we can't have part of that. I get it because the female figures are thinner, but come on.
Yeah.
Really, at the end of the day, do your ladies need to look like stick figures? Because they aren't. Let's be realistic. Real women are not stick figures.
I'm with Brick though. Like toe articulation isn't a deal breaker for me, but the more articulation, the better. Like honestly, like
I
I
will
mean, sometimes
agree.
it's a little
Yes.
weird, but
But it's where his toe articulation is usually that's weird.
yeah,
It's like
it
that would be
doesn't.
a part of your shoe that wouldn't flex,
Yeah,
at
it
least
doesn't
in a
look right a lot
realistic
of time.
manner.
Yeah.
And especially considering most of them are wearing boots. Yeah, that's gonna flex. Cool, dude. Cool story, bro. So one of the most important questions we have is, why toys? You can do anything. You could collect anything. You could do anything. What is it about toys that makes you want to collect them?
Well, like I was saying earlier, they're like art that you can actually like move and like tell your own stories with. I you know, they make toys of characters that are like beloved to me, so it's a way of like representing that. And I don't know. I don't know exactly what it is about toys, but they're a very cool medium. Like I, I would pick up art books and stuff like that, or I would go to like art shows. But there's something about actually being able to hold it, move it around. This is really cool.
That
Um,
tactile
it's like
experience.
it's tactile, and it's also like the sculpture. Like
Yeah.
all the little details in there. But then being able to like move it around and do stuff with it is just really
You
cool.
get to create your own story with it.
Yeah, or recreate your favorite moments.
Yeah. So, are there any times that you've bought something that you decided later that, I probably shouldn't have done that? Any regrets, remorse?
The Legend of Vox Machina for sure. I don't really have too much regrets on other stuff. I mean, now there's like, like I bought that vintage Snake Mountain, but we got an
Yeah.
Origins one. It's like I should have just waited. But I didn't know that was going to come out, so
There's no guarantee on anything coming out anymore. So that's kind of how I
yeah.
related.
It's one of the reasons why though I don't really go back to vintage much anymore. It's like, I mean, unless it's like a completely dead brand, like
yeah. I mean, and that's where you have to do it because you don't have an option.
yeah.
I mean, you could do customs, but who knows how long that would take you to make it. So it's kind of one of those things. So are there any characters, we all have those characters in our collections that are the worst of a given line? Are there any characters that stand out to you as that worst of a given line for you?
I mean, like just disappointing.
Yeah, disappointing. Something just ate at you the wrong way.
Uh,
It's kind of like for me, it's like Falcon's sculpt on this face sculpt. I know everything that happened to cause it, but if I want World America, you know, or Team America, World Police, Falcon, I'll go pull him out and put his head on. But somebody else's head is on the character currently.
I think probably the worst one, like head sculpt wise, is the Masterverse movie He-Man. Like, thank God Ramen Rescue, because I love that toy now, but that derp face was real bad.
It's the face that I have on mine, so I can't say it. I have the derp face. I
Yeah,
was just like, yeah, whatever. Doesn't
it's
matter.
pretty bad. He-Man, a lot of times they mess up his face.
I don't understand how you messed that up.
Yeah,
I don't. I'm trying to wrap my head around that, but
I don't know. Sometimes it would be like as simple as like, well, if you're gonna make it not look like He-Man, make it look like a person. Even if it's like, okay, it doesn't look like He-Man. It's like, make it actually. I mean, I couldn't do it. Like, if you saw me drawing on Kayla's channel yesterday, you see some of my artistic skill. So,
I can't say anything anymore. There was a time when I was extremely artistic, but yeah, no, that nerve damage has pretty much done that in. I can paint, but do fine detail work. Sometimes it's a frustrating thing. I can I would literally be pulling my hair out if I was still trying to draw, and because I can't draw so bad. Um, so all of us kind of in this, when we do collections, when we do collecting, do you ever kind of experience a burnout where you're just kind of like, I'm done for a while?
Um, I haven't gotten there yet. I'm like, I need to figure out what I'm going to do with space. Like, I can put up some more shelves here and there, and I have some stuff to move around. And I've got the solution behind me of putting them in shoe hangers, which is great. I love that, by the way. Like, if you're looking
Yeah.
for a place to just be able to grab your toys and easy access, I recommend it. But I haven't got burnout yet. I do get fatigued sometimes with like this dropped by surprise, this dropped by surprise, and like the windows and the like exclusivity. Like if I could prepay for all the rest of Motu Origins that are going to fill out the vintage line right now and be guaranteed to get it, I would do it. I'd just be like, boom, take my money, done. Don't have to worry about it. So
I think we live in that time where it would be nice if they would do that, because they can.
yeah.
It's whether or not they would do it is the realistic thing, because logistically for them, I'm assuming there's something to do with stuff being on the P&L for too long. So
yeah, and then like never knowing when something's going to hit a store, and when it hits a store, especially in like a small area, it's like it's gone. You missed it. It's never coming back.
Yeah,
and you're going to pay double the triple price now. So
distribution is shitty overall. Yeah, no. Hopefully we're getting to the end of that shitty distribution, but who knows?
So like the exclusives really they tax my patience quite a bit, like especially Walmart. Like Target's usually like you can find it, but I don't even have a Target in town. I have to go to the next town over and then drive around. It's like gas is not cheap. Like I would rather just order it
and be
not have to worry about it.
Exactly. It's nice that we have that option now, but I think missing that, kind of walking into the toy store and not knowing what to expect.
I think I spend extra money because I still want that, even though I'm buying the toys I want online. I still want to walk in somewhere and find something and walk out with it. So I'll go to like GameStop when I'm going home for from work and be like, they have anything in here? No? Okay. And then I walk out disappointed because I didn't want anything anyway. Yeah. But every once in a while you'll find something. It's like, I wouldn't have bought this. Like I just wanted to have something, Like,
yeah, I'm kind of that way with Ross lately. Yeah. For about the last 3 months, I'll stop on the way home because there's one literally like 3-4 minutes from my house. It's not.
Yeah, I do that with DD sometimes too, because like they have like the cheapest Marvel Legends if you can find them. Like,
yeah, and then Ollie's is on the other side of town, but we only have one. The other one is way the hell out there, and I don't want to go drive for an hour.
Ollie's is all the way on the other side of the country for us over here in California.
So. And when I'll stop at it once a week. I haven't done it in the last 3 weeks because I've gotten everything that I really need, but I'll wait here, start going back and checking it once a week, just to see what's there. Because for whatever reason, I always find something that I didn't think I would want, or I didn't really think I would need. Like, I found the real Ghostbuster stuff for Oz, and
that's cool.
For me, it's not about me. Sometimes it's me finding stuff for other people. I'm still trying to find I just need one of the starting lineup figures. I just need somebody that's
they had
medium toned.
They
just need a medium tone.
It wasn't
not LeBron, because LeBron's a little too dark for it. But
but they had a bunch of those at DD's last time I was in there. I was like, oh, it's the starting lineup things. But I don't care about.
I just need the upper body. The rest of it I don't need. I need from waist up.
Yeah.
And that's just for a custom. So it's I got the head for it. I just got to find the figures. So, the biggest things that we have as collectors, and the space and money are the two biggest issues. Because those are the things that are finite in most instances. There are some people that have no finite with money, but most of us practical collectors have a space and money
Yeah.
Boundary. So if we took away that space and money boundary, so in other words, if space and money were not an issue for you, what would you collect and why? And it doesn't have to be toys.
I think I'd collect pretty much the same stuff I do. Maybe expand to a couple other lines, but I would buy a location to set it all up and have massively elaborate dioramas and stuff. But like, if we're talking like space and money aren't an issue, like, and you wanted to do something in general, like,
Yeah.
I would open up like a community center. I really would. Like, if I had the money to, I'd put a tool library in, start up a time bank, provide like places for people to do apprenticeships, for trading like skills and time with each other, and just like resources for the community if I had the money to do so. But
Nolan has the burning question.
Yeah, it's sitting in this large box behind me.
Back there. What's up, Jim? How you doing, sir? I haven't said hi to Random. He came in a little bit earlier. But yeah, no, we talk about it. Space is the preeminent issue in our heads as collectors, especially when we have a finite space in our home. But really, the financial impact of toys too. On top of that, we get those two things, and I find that when I pay for it up front for anything, I tend to be less stressed out about it when it's going to hit.
Yeah, I actually prefer the Legions model where it's like up for a while. You can pre-order it; it'll come to you when it gets to you. Like, I don't mind that at all. Sometimes it's easier to be like, oh, I'll worry about that in the future, but then like they never come out when they say they are. So
and
like, I always
slam
leave
you
money.
all at once.
I always leave money sitting. It's like, this is ethereal money. Like, it's there, but
it's there, but it's not there
at any moment. So, like, I try not to get into bad situations, and I don't.
It's fantasy money. Yeah, that's the worst part is when you have that. Everything that's supposed to be out in April comes out in January, and you're like, oh,
yeah. Or like, it's the end of the year. We're going to shove everything out right now.
Yeah, exactly.
But I don't have kids. I don't, like, my bills aren't, I mean, they're expensive. I have a decent amount of expenses, but, I don't have kids. I don't have a significant other. My money is my money. And I have a couple of roommates, so.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's not, it's one of those interesting things that we do. We justify our expenditures in some ways.
I mean, I should worry about like, nobody's going to be able to take care of me. I should probably have the funds to take care of myself. It's like, no, just shove my toys on top of me and call it good. Like, when I get there,
just burn all the toys with me. It's fine.
Oh.
Fine.
I don't know what's going to happen to them all. So maybe I'll do a raffle when I die. Tickets to Thanos' funeral.
Each ticket is an
entry to the raffle. And then,
there you go.
I don't know.
So, is there any time that you see yourself not collecting? What would that look like for you?
Yeah, I think it'll happen sooner than later. Actually, when Origins ends, I'm probably done on He-Man stuff. Like, I'm not going to continue with Masterverse. Maybe buy a figure here, a figure there. Legions, after I get like the 4 Horsemen and fill out their troops a little bit, and maybe some opponents from the other factions, I'll probably be like, I have enough of these. AWOC, depending on how long that goes and how the story goes. But at some point, I will probably just be like, that's my stuff. This is going to be my display, and really just nail it down to what I want and build the little worlds around what I want to display. And then I'll have all these toys to play with and enjoy taking a bunch of different pictures with them.
So you're saying you'll keep collecting until they stop making toys?
No.
That's what I'm hearing.
Well, so Origins, right? Like, there's not too much left in that line.
Yeah, it's almost done.
AWOC, like I said, I don't know how long it's going to go. Like if the story goes and it's like it keeps going in a way where I feel like I need to still be there, I'll be collecting from that. Legions, once I get the 4 horsemen and I feel like I've filled out the troops enough, like I can be like I'm done, and maybe every once in a while pick up a figure, but not like how I am now, where it's like I need this, I need that, I need this, I need that. You know what I mean? Like I do feel like I'll get to a stopping point logically with most of these. I'll probably finish Dragonor until it hits its logical conclusion. But I don't know. I feel like at a certain point, not too far down the road, I'll be mostly done with maybe picking a thing here.
Mostly done. Mostly done is the keyword
Mostly
there, right?
done. Yeah.
So I'm going to show a toy photography of the week. Hopefully I'll remember to pull that off there. So just so people know, this is supposed to be going on regularly, but for whatever reason, I keep forgetting to do it. Probably because I should have introduced it later on. All right, there's that, and there's share. All right, and is it not up? Come on, pokey.
I can see it.
Huh? You can see it?
I can see it.
Can everybody else see it? Because there it goes. Okay, it wasn't showing up. So this is Skydra Walker. He's a local guy. This is his dio. That's his. It's just a cool look. I like the ethereal look, kind of like early morning fog, late evening, whatever it is. It looks cool.
He's using extreme sets. He does a lot of good work with those extreme sets.
He does. I'm shocked that they look as good as they do, honestly. But he
sets them up. And he's got his I've watched him while he's doing the shoots. Like he's got a whole elaborate setup, lighting coming in just the right areas. Like he does a really good job.
Yeah. All right, and this is Liquid Momentum. This is someone out of Hawaii. All of his stuff looks great, or their stuff. I'm not sure, male, female. I'm making an assumption there. Looks great. Great stuff. Love it. Fantastic stuff. All right, so hang on. You can't see that one, right? Just want to make sure.
I can see it. Trying to figure out what the buildings are. That's one of the things. When I look at them, what are they how are they pulling this effect off?
Hey, look at that. There's one.
That's me. That was the first night of Hanukkah.
I know. It's one of your Hanukkah photos. I really like these. I thought they were inventive and cute.
Yeah. I think conceptually that was the best one of the Hanukkah set, just because Kitty Pryde, one of the more famous Jewish superheroes.
And here's another one from John.
Yep, he always does great stuff.
I really dig. I like his use of light. His use of light is really good.
Yeah, he's really good.
And I know some of that is editing and the other stuff. Hang on, I gotta find the custom. I got food. Where's the custom? Okay, it's not there. What? Where did it go? There it is. This was the one that I would think was trying to show with Jacob, but for whatever reason, I kept leaving up the overlay, so no one got to actually see it, I think. I really like this. The only thing I don't like is the sheen on the outfit, but, that would be easy to fix. But it is really nice custom.
Yeah. We're getting a much more covered up, modest version of her.
Yeah. Well, and you know what? Here's the funny thing is that they would, there you go. Sub titties, just for you, Kayla. Yeah, the good thing about Skydra is he actually is here in Oklahoma City, so he lives in the area. So it's kind of cool. So with that, we have one final important question. I don't know where all my custom stuff went. It was in I know I saved it. I don't know where I put it now, and I don't feel like digging through it. The most important question of the day, and the final question of the day. What did you find joy in today?
A couple of things. This has been super fun, so I'm glad you invited me. So, and then my dogs. I just I got sent home from work because I tried to go back to work today, and they're like, "No, go home." So I just came and I laid with my dogs and cuddled with them for a while, and that was fun. I probably don't come across this way, but I can be a very negative person. I have an outlook on life where it's like everything's stupid. I don't understand why anything works the way it does. We're all just running the planet into the ground, and I'm gonna try to mind my own business. Like I have that attitude, so I do. I do find joy. Like I have to take moments out to be like, I'm enjoying myself here. Like this is one of the good parts. Normally, like my job, I work at a nursing home and I help all those people. So I really I appreciate that I'm able to help somebody. That's important to me because the job I had before was super soulless. Just like I felt pointless for 5 years of my life, and I could never go back to a job that doesn't actually help people. But I do take the time to appreciate the moments, and I had a great time here. So I'm glad you invited me.
Right. Glad you had a great time. And with that, folks, we are done, except for he gets to pimp himself for 5 minutes. Where
Hey,
can they find you?
I'm relatively
If they
cheap.
haven't found you
Make
already.
me an offer. Oh wait, not that kind of pimping. I'm the Thanos Copter. Every day on Instagram at _Thanos Copter. I post pictures. Sometimes they're silly, sometimes they're sweet, sometimes they're graphic. We'll just put it that way. Wednesdays are hump days. Fridays are Fisto Fridays.
That's the word I would use.
The rest of the time, it's kind of anything goes. And then every weekend, I put out a weekly retrospective of the corresponding week to the previous year because I started, I don't know, a year and some change ago.
I did put the links for your stuff in the description, so
I am the _Thanos Copter on both places, and if you find one, it's linked to the other, so I'm not hard to find.
Just look for the smiling little Thanos inside the yellow helicopter.
Until somebody takes it away from me.
Until someone comes around and decides to say no. And with that, folks, we are coming to a new year. I will be on a stream probably with Oz tomorrow. There's a high likelihood I will be on at least a little while on Sunday while we go our best ofs. Or in their words, they're saying best of. I'm just saying this is all the shit that I liked this year. So there's no particular order. Nobody's better than the other. So that's how I am with mine. It's chaos. Chaotic good. I'll be chaotic good till I die. But with that, I want to remind you, if you can be anything, be kind. Have a safe New Year's. Don't drink and drive.